All right, welcome into the Fantasy Engineers. Tyler here, joined with Toon. Again, we want to do a quick video to fill in a little bit of the gaps here while we release full episodes. We wanted to do a quick buy low and sell high video. So with this video, will just be their sell high targets. So we're looking forward to it. Dotun, how's your fantasy season going so far?
Honestly, started off hot, had a real hot streak. Thanks to Paul George, John Morant, had me going the first week. This week not so well. Embiid's kind of struggling a little bit. It might be due to injury, but hoping to bounce back tonight.
Yeah, I'm in a pretty fortunate position right now. All of my top targets seem to be hitting in the first couple of weeks. I went KD, Sabonis, LaMelo, Van Vliet, Anthony Edwards, and all of them looking well. Van Vliet had a little struggle at the beginning, but doing well. So my team is 1-0. Looking forward to it. We're in a strong one right now, a
Oh
big
yeah.
fight right now. So we'll see. But real quick, we just want to go ahead and go over some sell high candidates from guys who start off real hot, who we don't believe will be able to sustain this level of success and might be able to net you a solid return. So without further ado, Tune, who's your favorite sell high candidate right now?
My favorite so high candidate. It might be crazy to say. I just talked about him, but John Morant. John Morant. John Morant is
I don't want
off
to hear you
to.
say that.
I know, as a Memphis fan, as you have your Memphis shirt on. But yeah, John Morant. The reason being, John Morant off to a hot start right now. I believe he's shooting over 60% from the field, like I think 50% from three. That in itself isn't sustainable. I mean, if he did, that'll be a record holding season to have. So definitely expect that to drop down. Not to say that John Morant can't have a stellar season. It's definitely possible for him to keep up, but I just see him definitely falling off just a tad bit, especially off of last year. Last year he had a really hot start. He had a 40-point game, followed by almost a 30-point triple double, followed after that. So I expect, and then after that, had an injury, and then he fell off a little bit. So I expect him to kind of find similar thing this year. My main thing is if you can find value in a trade for him now. He's putting up top 10 in the points league numbers right now. So if you can find a trade for him, maybe for a Steph, work out a Steph trade, whoever, might be an option to look at. What do you think? What do you think about that?
I mean, personally, I'm going to disagree with you just because John Morant's going to ball out all season. He's going to be a top 10 guy. He's going to carry the Grizzlies to the 4 seed, the playoffs. But realistically, no, I understand what you're saying. Like that's a ridiculously hot start. You know, you could maybe package him for a higher point guard. Maybe, like you mentioned the Steph. Maybe not Luca. Luca would be a little bit difficult. You probably could get a Trey Young trade for a little bit better. You think? And I want to ask you because we'll go into some of these guys on like a buy low candidates, but how would you feel about someone trying to trade John Morant for a Damian Lillard right now, who's really struggling?
Oof, oof. Honestly, one for one, that would be really intriguing. Damian Lillard's struggling right now.
Yeah, as you with the John Morant owner, if that trade entered your queue, what would you do?
That'll be a tough one. I have to think about that one, but I really consider. I mean, Damian Lillard's a proven superstar. We know what Damian Lillard's what he can do. But honestly, with the trade rumors and everything going on right now, it would kind of concern me. So
Yeah, I can see that.
yeah,
Yeah, but again, like I said, you're gonna be wrong. John Morant's gonna do this all season,
I
so
definitely
don't worry.
for the sake of my team, I'm keeping my eyes open for a trade right now. I'm eyeing a couple
Yeah,
targets, but he's definitely on
yeah,
my list for so high.
yeah. I understand that. Yeah, I think you got some other sell high candidates right now. These are guys who are a little bit cheaper. My favorite sell high would probably be Miles Bridges. Um, he's scoring at a ridiculous, almost like 30 points per game night, and that just doesn't seem sustainable in the lineup. Terry Rozier's out. Uh, LaMelo runs the offense. Gordon Hayward still has not found his scoring groove. He's a talented player, super talented player, and I know that. And I think he's athletic enough to where the rebounds, the blocks, and the points could stay up, but I think it will regress a little bit. And based off where you drafted him, I think you could get a pretty solid return by trying to move up a little bit. So I like him as a sell high candidate as well.
Yeah, I mean, Miles Bridges is another guy who's top 10 in points leagues right now, putting up absurd numbers, absurd numbers. But like I said, no Terry Rozier, no PJ Washington right now. It's hard to say. Maybe this is the true him coming out. He's still a young guy coming to the
Yeah.
league. This could be the true him. I might have to disagree with you on this one. Gordon Hayward, he can never stay healthy, so it's a good chance he'll be down here soon. So that
Hmm.
opens up even more opportunity for Miles Bridges for the rest of the season. So who knows what's gonna happen, but Like definitely, you can go and get your value now, or kind of wait and see the return because right now he's absolutely killing it. So,
Yeah.
um,
So we got some other guys that we're
yeah,
looking at here. I know that we've seen people like Valanciunas, Harrison Barnes. These are guys who they have had solid roles in the past, and you just kind of see, I don't know. The thing to me, Harrison Barnes situation, it's one that the Kings seem like they should be really in a rebuilding mode, which they've done.
yep.
I think they've done fairly well in draft picks, and most of their draft picks have been guards and not forwards.
Hmm.
But he seems like he's one of the older guys who could get some value if they wanted to go on that trade block, if they wanted to enter a full rebuild.
Hmm.
But he's scoring and rebounding at a ridiculous rate. He's clearly a key part of the team. De'Aaron Fox seems to be off to a slow start. So I kind of like. I mean, obviously, most people may have been able to pick up Harrison Barnes off the waiver wire, which would
Hmm.
mean anything you get from him seems like a bonus for your team.
Yep.
Don't give him away for just anything, but because he really could be better than people thought, but he's worth trading at his current value.
Oh yeah, definitely agree. Definitely agree. Harrison Barnes. I mean, like you talk about the Kings. They're trying to compete every year, but it just doesn't ever work out in their favor. They seem to keep on drafting guards. They took Bagley, got one more forwards, but that three spot where Harrison Barnes plays, they haven't found just about anyone to be his backup. I mean, it's been temporary players this year. They're playing Buddy Hield now at the three with Halliburton also rotating at three as well. So Barnes has all those minutes, so it's definitely a possibility that he has the opportunity to keep this up. But averaging 30 and 10 right now, it's not likely at all. If you can work out a trade for maybe like a Paul George, maybe an upgrade, him with someone else, or maybe get an upgrade in the fourth spot. I think that'll definitely be a great benefit for your team.
Hmm.
So
Who else do you like selling high?
So last up is Valanciunas. And Valanciunas, I have him under my sell high, mainly because we have Zion coming back. Even though Zion isn't the greatest rebounder, I know Valanciunas is a scrappy guy, gets rebounds, easily a double double guy. But I think Valanciunas coming back is just going to clog that paint for him. I feel like his minutes may reduce going into the season as well, depending on how the Pelicans do throughout the season. So the way Valanciunas is playing now, currently, I know it's still early in the season. We're 4 or 5 games in. I think you can definitely get some great value back in return before maybe his minutes start to fall down or his scoring starts to fall down. So definitely a target, someone to look at for a different target.
Yeah, and it really depends on when Zion comes back, what happens. You assume Zion's going to take a lot of that scoring potential. Maybe he doesn't. He should leave still a decent amount of rebounds for Valanciunas, and Valanciunas has showed everywhere he goes that he's a good player. We're not saying he's not a good player.
Oh yeah.
I think in our league right now, which I think we've explained our scoring before, but it's pretty close to standard. We have a few differences, but he's scoring 35 and a half points per game, which would be an incredible season, top 20 as of right now. So not something I believe is going to last. Uh, but so I wouldn't mind trading up for him or trading him up for somebody else. A few other guys. I just want to throw in some honorable mentions of players that maybe are making a bigger impact than you thought. Malcolm Brogdon is playing really well. I've always known he's a really good player. Does a lot of good things for that team. Has a lot of assists. With Indiana still in the trade talks for Ben Simmons, you could see a path where a lot of his usage is taken away as mainly a scorer.
Hmm.
So he wouldn't be fantasy irrelevant, but it wouldn't be at his value now. I wouldn't mind trading him away. Al Horford's playing really well for the Boston Celtics right now, and
Oh
you
yeah.
know that at his age, if you can get some solid value before he starts taking games off, then you should do it. And
It might be
then,
too late on that one. He's already taken a few off now.
yeah, I was gonna say, even then, this one's interesting because we didn't know where to gauge him because of how they used him last season. Anthony Davis for the Los Angeles Lakers. Me and you talked how we think he's being slept on uh, going in the second or third round in a lot of drafts because the Lakers didn't use him like New Orleans did.
Hmm.
But he's absolutely balling out for them right now. He looks like one of their best players. Now, if you don't trust his injuries, if you don't trust that the team's going to keep using him like this all season, it might revert back. Then I wouldn't blame you at all for trading him.
Hmm.
Plus, with LeBron already sitting out a game, and a lot of the other guys being older, he could see more opportunities. But for that, I could see trading high.
Oh yeah, I definitely agree. Yeah, that's the thing. AD, his stats aren't gonna fall if he plays. I see him always producing. I think the main thing for him is just whether he's healthy and on the court or not. they've already said multiple times that for Lakers, it's not a sprint, it's a marathon. They just got to make it through the season. They're looking at the playoffs. So AD is definitely someone who, if he's playing, he's gonna be great.
That'll do it for our sell high candidates. So thanks for listening. Be sure to tune in for our buy low coming soon.